Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show. Now, as a university that won the Best Innovation in Science and Technology at the Widya Padi Awards from 2018 to 2020, Telkom University presented a telecommunication research center, which has become a University Center of Excellence for Advanced Intelligent Communications, or Icoms. This research center was not only acknowledged by Telkom University, but also nationally based on assessment from Education, Culture, Research and Technology Ministry.
And furthermore, Icoms has become the first University Center of Excellence for Science and Technology at the Telkom University since 2020. And currently, Icoms has produced many renewable technology products. Now, to know more about it, we now have with us in the studio Telecom Infra Project Connectivity Ecosystem Manager Aulia Velmy and Telkom University Center of Excellence for Advanced Intelligent Communication Director, also a Vice Chairman Asia Pacific Walrus Group, Khoirul Anwar. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you so much to spare your time to talk with us in the studio. Now, can you explain to us more about Icoms, because this is certainly something that is not familiar yet for us.
Yeah, okay. So, thank you very much. Icom is a University Center of Excellence focusing on the development of advanced intelligence, especially the artificial intelligence for telecommunications. We are targeting the 5G advance and also the 6G wireless networks. And currently we are having about 50 personnel or researchers in Icoms in Telkom University, and we would like to thank to Telkom University and also the Ministry of Higher and Education and Research and Technology of Indonesia for the assessment and for the acknowledgement of our research.
And I believe that you, along with those 50 personnel at Icoms, work hard every day to create and invent new products each day, right?
Yes.
Now, could you please tell us more about those products?
Yeah, currently we are having about the 5 top products of Icoms. The first is the PatriotNet. PatriotNet is standing for the Prevention and Recovery Networks for Indonesia Natural Disaster based on the Internet of Things. So for the first product, so we consider the development and mitigation of the disaster. And then the second product is the 5G based, the high-speed railway signaling system. And the third product is the over-the-horizon communication. We are applying for the rocket communications. And then number 4, this is the future generation of the Internet of Things. And number 5 is the artificial intelligence and quantum cryptography for the 6G.
I see, quantum cryptography. So probably, Mr. Velmy, you can help me on how this development could actually help us in our daily life. I mean, this certainly is something that is, you know, quite weird for us to hear about this. But yeah, can you elaborate? Probably just in a brief sentence, or probably and like dumb it down for us, like how this can actually benefit our daily lives.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I think, you know, if we take a look on all of the technology development, right? I mean, we can feel it today. You know, it's bringing benefits for all of the peoples, right? So I mean, if you recall, you know, before the mobile phone era, right? So it's very hard for us is actually to do something that can create the economic opportunity.
Sure.
But nowadays, if you can see, you know, with this, you know, the advancement of the mobile technology, then you can do a lot of the, you know, things that, you know, can empower the society, right?
Sure.
So I think it's the same thing also. I mean, if you take a look on all of the development here that, you know, Professor Khoirul and the team is actually try to develop and then bring into the market, is going to bring and also give, like, you know, a benefit to the society, right? Because I think at the end of the day, you can imagine there's a lot of new use cases that can be deployed and implemented, you know, which at the end of the day is actually also can contribute into the society development and also create economic empowerment actually to the people.
So probably in a more simpler word, this would actually make our lives easier.
Exactly.
It makes our life easier because, as you were saying, imagine our lives before the mobile phones era. I was using the payphone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same here. Now, in order to implement those advanced or new technologies that you invented, all those products, of course, you need support from the government, right? You need to work together with them as well. What are your expectations for the government?
Yeah, so the expectation from the government is actually to support with all of this development, right? I mean, if you take a look on the local context, I think it's very important for Indonesia to not only become a user. So I think at the end of the day, it's actually what we want is actually we also become a player. So we become like a very big part of the ecosystem, right? So meaning to say is actually there's a lot of researcher, there's a lot of the technical expert, that can develop the product, not only use the product, but it's actually we are developing the product for the benefit of the people. So.
Okay, so Professor Anwar, probably this is quite like a question from from a commoner. Like us. Is there an urgency for the future regarding the latest technology from the expert's point of view?
Yes, there are the urgency. So the first, it is predicted that in the future, the current technology does not satisfy the requirement of the transmission of the bit. The bit, or maybe we say that we need more than exabyte transmission. So if we don't develop new technology, and then it is not enough, the current technology. So this is the first urgency. And then the second, we are believing that to have the growth in economy, we need also the strong infrastructure for the telecommunication, because of the digital technology will encourage the increase and also the growth of the economy of Indonesia and also around the globe.
So is it safe to say that the development of technology is being one of the backbones of the development of the country and also the world as well in that sense?
Yes, yes. Our view is like this. So the technology, the performance of the technology is increasing exponentially, but in some cases, the thing of the linear leader, they are linear. So we will have the gap between the performance of the technology and the linear company. So I think we need to fill in the gap. So the question is that who fill in the gap? So we are thinking that the young generation should fill in this gap. And the linear reader, they should change their mind that actually there are many resources, many performance that they can improve more than the current technology.
We understand that you are a founder and also an expert, obviously, in the field of telecommunication, especially 5G and beyond, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do you see the potential of technology development in the future?
Okay, so this is very good question. So we are thinking that first about the high-speed transmissions we need, and I think we can solve that. But what we cannot solve currently is the security. So the future technology will be focusing, beside on the high-speed transmission, is the security. That's why we are now thinking to use the new medium, which is called the quantum. Because the quantum we cannot clone, and then we cannot, and then the processing is very high with the parallel processing. Then it will guarantee the future security. That's why even the World Economic Forum, they warn that by 2030 many companies should migrate from the current process into the process that where with the quantum technology, because the quantum algorithm can break the current existing security.
I see.
So we should be aware with that kind of the technology in the future.
The development of technology, of course, always comes with consequences. Could you please perhaps mention what are the consequences and
the risks probably, or the downside of development of 5G to up to probably 7G?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you tackle it?
Okay, so the first maybe we need the funding. So because some new technologies are requiring the funding and also the development, and sometimes the development may be fail during the experiment.
Yeah.
So we need the good funding, and then second, we need the regulations. Yeah. So we are expecting that the government will support us with the good regulation. And the third, I think we need the community, we need the ecosystem, because we need the demand too, who will use this technology. And the fourth, we need the good researchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are expecting that the young generation of Indonesia and also young generation in the world can fill in this gap and can support the future development for the human.
Probably, Mr. Velmy, how do you see this development in terms of the readiness of people here in our country? Are we ready yet for that advance of technology?
Yeah, so I think the way that I look at it, right, I mean, there is still a room for improvement, right? So that's why I think the ecosystem development is very important, right? So when you talk about the ecosystem development, you talk about the two sides of the equation, right? So supply side and also the demand side, right? You always talk about supply and demand here. So for us, like us, what we are doing in the telecom infra project is actually we are trying to address both of the equation. So we try to ensure that, you know, Indonesia also ready in supplying the technology, supplying the human resources, but also at the same time is actually working with the largest industry and communities actually to prepare for the demand. Because without the demand, then, you know, the supply side also is become not so attractive for them. It's not really, you know, incentivize them is actually to really develop the product, right? So I think that is actually is my view. So I think, but you know, if we keep doing the development together, I think we are going to accelerate, you know, the development of this ecosystem.
And with the development as well in the world at the moment, I'm sure that Indonesia is not the only country who would probably provide this kind of technology. There must have been lots of, you know, foreign, I don't know, foreign investors or foreign technology that could actually penetrate the Indonesian market. And how is the competition in that sense when it comes to that? Yeah,
so I think competition is quite fierce, right? I mean, there's a lot of other countries globally, they're also developing the same technology. But I think what is the most important thing is actually the role of the government. I'm coming back into that question. How can the government is really ensuring that the local industry can also thrive?
So that goes to the regulations?
Regulation, right? So that's mean the local component need to be increased, you know, they have to have a certain regulation to ensure that the local player can be contributed into the technology. So it doesn't really matter if, let's say, there is a technology is coming from the other countries, but at the end of the day, so actually we can also contribute as part of the solution development, technology development.
I see. So what actions must Indonesia take in order to be able to produce a national product in telecommunications?
Yeah, so again, I think working together hand in hand with all of the stakeholders is very important. So we need academia, like what is being leading by the Professor Khoirul here, and then we need also support from the government, and then we also need to work with all of the local industry, to ensure that this is actually the direction that we are heading to. So at the end of the day, what we do is actually creating a very vibrant local ecosystem, which can only support for the local need, and also can support for the global needs, actually. Yeah.
Well, we're certainly very interested in seeing how this would turn out for Indonesia in particular, and probably us as the generations who are actually using this kind of technology. And what about you?
Looking forward to have an easier life in the future because of technology. Well, I think we should thank Mr. Aulia and Prof. Khoirul here.
Yes.
For, you know, for doing all of this.
And also for sharing your insights, and also what, you know, what the future would look like for Indonesia in the sense of technology. Mr. Aulia, Velmy, and also Professor Khoirul Anwar, thank you so much for coming to the studio. And certainly we will see more on the development on that.
Exactly. And those were the economic and business updates we have for this hour. We're going to take a little break. And when we return, Hans will again bring you the latest from the world of
sports.
Yeah.
Do not go anywhere.